Hello, and welcome to a Fresh View podcast, where we talk about life in Jesus Christ. Whether you have a community of kingdom ambassadors for Christ or not, I have good news for you. You do now. Before we dive into this amazing episode, I want you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. That, my friend, is the purpose of this podcast: to feel fresh, whole, and rejuvenated in your perspective and walk with Jesus Christ through this beautiful gift called life. My name is Andrea Robinson, and it is a great honor to be the host and CEO of a Fresh View podcast. Again, welcome, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and pass along to others the amazing wisdom gained from this episode. And most importantly, the gospel, good news, and love of Jesus Christ. Without further ado, let's get to it.
Welcome to episode 2 of a Fresh View podcast. Y'all, I am so excited because this is episode 2 and we are talking about slowing down the pace. I think oftentimes in life we get so caught up in the hustle and just the world that we sometimes forget to really just slow down, be still, stop, and take a deep breath in and remember who's in control. So today we're going to talk about slowing the pace, even in the midst of uncertainty, in the midst of trying to build something, in the midst of trying to grow and develop something, in the midst of just not knowing what in the world is going on, or in the midst of things just happening so fast, whether bad or good. And it's just like, goodness gracious, what is happening? I think sometimes we can get so caught up in just wanting to stay on track and stay on track with our deadline, our timelines, and our agenda, our plans, our goals, and even the agenda and timeline of society in this world. Stay on the pace of this world because this world is constantly moving at a fast pace. And it's like if we don't stay up to date with it, then we can get left behind. And who wants to get left behind? However, you will realize that when you are aligned with God and when you are really tuned in and your mind and heart and soul, everything is focused on God and what He has for you, you don't, you silence the outside voices, you silence what is around you, you silence everything else, you silence all the outside factors, and really you're just so focused on it's just you and God and where He is placing you to go and what He has for you to do. And when you're like that, it's like you will realize that God will do far exceedingly and abundantly above all that you could have imagined or even asked for. I found myself getting frustrated because I felt like everything and everyone else around me was accomplishing things, getting things done, and um, everybody was moving. And I just felt like I was at this place where it's at a standstill, it's stagnant, and I feel like I was literally going nowhere. And I felt stuck. Like, not just stuck. I think it's one thing to be stuck, but I think it's another thing to be stuck and not know what's next and not know where is God leading you next. It's like, goodness gracious, like you start to get hopeless and sometimes and you lose faith and you just start to lose strength. And even in times where you still have the faith, because I feel like for me, my faith doesn't really get low just because I know who God is. However, I would say that my strength gets low. My endurance to want to keep going in whatever God is calling me can sometimes get low because I will start to jump. If this isn't working, okay, then I'm jumping on to something else. And sometimes God is telling us to be still, be patient, and wait. Just because it may not be going on our timeline, He is working behind the scenes. And we may not be seeing things right now, but if we just be patient and we wait and we be still and just know that He is God, then everything will happen in a beautiful timeline. And it's not, even if it didn't happen right away, the way God has everything set up and strategically set up is going to be way beautiful than if we were just like this all the time and on the go. When we are in a hustle and just always trying to stay up with the world and the world's agendas and the latest trends, and whether this is the latest trends in our careers or whether it's the latest trends on social media, whether it's the latest trends on how to make money and stuff like that, whatever it is, when we try to stay up with everyone else and what the goals of everyone else is and just the world as a whole, we are so much in a hurry that we miss the very simplicity and beauty of God right before us. And God is in the simplistic and beautiful moments. In the most simplistic ways, God can be speaking to us and showing us what is next. But because we're so focused on what the world is doing and who's doing this and what's going on in this person's life, that we miss out on the beauty and simplicity of what God is doing right before us. And I think sometimes we can get so frustrated at what is going on in our life that we also miss the simplicity of gratitude. We get so caught up in being frustrated and hopeless and God, you're not doing this. God, you left me. God, what is happening? God, I don't like my life. God, why did you give me this life? God, why did you let this person come into my life? We miss the opportunities of gratitude. And it's not really just opportunities, but every moment you should have gratitude because it's the moments of gratitude, the simplistic things in life that we take for granted. When you be still and just sit for a minute and take a deep breath in and just thank God for who He is, one, and all that He's done in your life. Even if it's filled with so much bad, God still knows how to do goodness in your life. So there are good things in your life. Whether there's more bad that triumphs over the good, you have to really sit and be still, and you will realize that there's actually more good that triumphs over the bad. Really take a moment to be still and enjoy the simplicity of the things around you, the people before you, and recognize who God is in your life. Recognize the moments when He's a friend. Recognize the moments when He's being a father. Recognize the moments where He's being a healer, where He's being a comforter, where He's being your peacemaker. Just everything that you need in that moment. We have to sometimes be willing to sacrifice the fast pace for the slow pace. Sometimes we can get distracted or we can see somebody else and see what they're doing and like, oh, I'm going to get out of line and go to where they are. I'm going to go over there because this is not for me. Staying in line is not for me. And God is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the beginning and the end. God is the line leader and the caboose. God is saying, get back in line because I know where I am leading you. Get back in line because I am the shepherd and you are the sheep. I know where I am directing you. I know where I am guiding you. God is like, I know where you are going. The very place that I am taking you, I have already been. I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Don't get so caught up in everything else around you. Don't get so caught up in life and the race that everybody else is running that you lose focus of your own race, that you lose sight of the very destination God is trying to take you, that you lose sight of God Himself and the plans that He has for you specifically. Sometimes being still is remembering God's goodness, God's faithfulness, God's greatness in every season of your life. If you think about it, our best example, our best one to look at when in any situation, the one we always want to be in likeness of His image is Jesus Christ. And if you think about Jesus and His journey and how He was always on the move, doing something, going somewhere because He had assignments. However, in the midst of Jesus doing something, He still knew how to slow down the pace. It's like when Jesus was walking and there's all these people around Him and everybody wants to touch Jesus. Everybody is trying to get Jesus' attention. And out of all those people, He said, "Who touched me?" And His disciples are like, "Jesus, all these people, you want us to figure out who touched you?" And He's like, "No, somebody touched me." Jesus wasn't in a hurry. Even with all the things around Him, He still was able to discern and know who it was that touched Him. He felt the difference between all the other touches and that special touch. He was able to discern the assignment in the midst of all that chaos, in the midst of plenty more assignments, and He was able to slow down and stop and be still in that moment and say, okay, I know I have other assignments to fulfill, but this woman just touched me. And I will be present in this moment. I will be present in this assignment. I will slow down my pace. And whatever this assignment is, God, that you have for me, I will do it. Jesus was in a destination, He was heading somewhere. But He took a moment to stop and be still in the moment and tend to that woman's needs, to be able to feel that this touch was not just any touch, but it was a touch by someone with faith. It was a touch by someone who really needs me. Sometimes we are, yes, we are on this path of I am trying to make money. I am trying to build generational wealth. I am trying to get rich. I am trying to get to where I want to get in life. And sometimes we can get so caught up in that we miss what's right in front of us. Sometimes God is like, stop, just stop, be still. because there is somebody along this journey that I need you to tend to. And you will miss that assignment trying to get to the goal. It's not just the goal, but there's assignments along the journey. And you can't get to the goal without going through the assignments. So this goal that you're so focused on, I just have to get to this goal. You're never going to get to that goal because you're missing the assignments along the way. And then we try to figure out, why are we so frustrated? Why can't we get to this goal? Baby, you have assignments that you are supposed to be fulfilling while throughout this whole journey. It's not just about the goal, it's not just about the destination, but it's really about the journey. It's about the people that you affect along the journey. It's about the people that you bring to God along the journey. It's about the people that you love along the journey. Really, we aren't running this race to gain a earthly reward, but we're running this race to gain a heavenly reward. This earthly reward does not nearly compare to the heavenly reward that we will get. Being outside and being surrounded by nature, it reminds me to stop and be still and remember who's really in control. I think sometimes when we're in a hurry, we lose focus and we get into this false mindset that we are in control, that we have to, we need to, in order for this to be accomplished, we instead of we, God and I. Because how can you reach what God has for you if you don't even know what God has for you? And you wouldn't even know what God has for you because you're not even tuned into the heart of God. You're not even tuned into God and His voice. You don't even know what His voice sounds like. So, how can you even know where God is leading you if you're not even tuned into Him? When we really pray and spend time in God's presence, we really get to know who God is, what His voice sounds like, and what his instruction may be. Sometimes it can seem like God when it's really not God. It's the enemy. God's timing is so much better than ours. We see it over and over in throughout the Bible with Abraham and Sarah, with Jacob, with Joseph, with Daniel, with David, with Mary, with there's so many people in the Bible that we see it with, even Zacharias and Elizabeth. So even if you don't see a way right now, even if you don't feel a way right now, even if you don't feel progress, even if you don't feel improvement, even if you don't feel like there is anything good that's going to come out this situation. It may seem like a lifetime. It may seem like it's taking forever. It may seem like you're in that season for a long time, but don't lose hope. Don't lose the race because God is working behind the scenes and God has far better on the other side for you. I am in a season where I have no idea what's next. I had this goal of wanting to become a doctor since I was a little girl. And now it's like, what in the world? I had dreams of not only becoming a doctor, but I had dreams of going to the Olympics in track and field. I had dreams of going to college on a full ride scholarship. I had so many dreams along the way. And now I'm uncertain if I want to become a doctor. The track thing didn't work out. I was blessed with an amazing story in track, which that is another story for another day. However, that journey ended beautifully. And now I'm in another season where it's like, what is going on? All I've known my whole life was the medical field. All I've known my whole life was to become a doctor. So I truly don't know any other jobs out there other than what my friends are or the careers that my family's in, what my parents are doing. Um, and I find no interest in any of that. So it's like, okay, what is out there for me? And as much as it seems like, oh, you'll figure it out, it seems like life waits for no one, time waits for no one, and you want to make money. Like, who doesn't want to make money? And so I'm in this season where it's like, God, I really need you. God, I need to know, what am I going to do next? I have a job that I'm in, but I don't like my job. I don't want the job that I'm in to be a long-term job, just temporary. And it's just like, God, hello, what about me? When's my time? When is it the time to where I can be doing what I want to in life and still be able to serve you and reach people while happy doing it? God, when is it my time, basically? And sometimes it can get discouraging because it's like, okay, I have to be doing something wrong. Or sometimes it can be stressful and it's like, I don't have enough time. You can feel like you're running out of time. You can feel like even in times you're running out of breath because you're just like on a treadmill constantly, just trying to stay afloat, trying to keep going and trying to get back on top or trying to get to the top. And in those moments, God had to remind me to stop and be still because in this stillness, it's in the stillness when you remember who's really in control. It's in the stillness where you remember that God has the whole world in his hands, in the palm of his hands. It's in the stillness when you remember that God created the heavens and the earth. God created this whole earth in one day, and he was fruitful and multiplied in the earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day, he rested. It also goes to show that God wasn't in a rush to create this earth. God wasn't in a rush to create beauty. Science is still trying to figure out so much. How are we able to function the way we are? Science is trying to figure out how is this, that. Science is trying to figure out what is down there in the oceans. Science is trying to figure out a whole lot. And we will never, science, us, nobody will ever be able to figure out all the complexities and just the simplicities in God's beauty because God is God. We will not ever be able to figure out all of God. God is too strong, he's too powerful, he's too significant, he's too amazing for us to figure out. Yet he's just so beautiful. If God created the heavens and the earth in one day, if he created light and darkness in one day, if he created animals in one day, if he created us in one day, what makes you think that your goal is bigger than all of this? What makes you think that where you want to go and your desires and goals is bigger than all of this and what he can do? If he did all of that in one day, what makes you think that your dream and goal and desires are bigger than that or are too far out and complex for him to bring you to? God didn't have to do it within 6 days. He could have did all of this, the animals, creating animals and the earth, all of what we are being able to experience. He could have created all of his creation within one day, yet he slowed down the pace and he said his timing is far better. The seventh day, he said, okay, it is done, it is finished. And he was able to enjoy what he created. He was able to say, I am going to be still and enjoy what is before me. Enjoy my creation. There is literally nothing too big for God. Your goal is tinier than dust, tinier than specks, tinier than an atom, literally to God. You have to know, you have to remember to trust him because he's got you. He's literally holding you. And not just holding you, but like I said, he's holding your goals too. And he is going to surpass everything that you can imagine. He's going to surpass all your goals, all your desires. So keep the faith, keep going. You got this. I believe in you. I believe that God will do far exceedingly and abundantly above all that you can imagine, the people around you can imagine. Don't lose faith, even if it's so easy to lose faith, even if it's so easy to lose hope. Know that He loves you, that He got you, and you're going to succeed in life. You got to believe it. This is the season where you speak life in a dead situation, where you speak life over the uncertainty, where you speak life into something that looks far beyond anything good happening anytime soon. You have to speak life to every situation. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. There is power in your words. There's power in your mouth. Speak it and don't be afraid to speak it. Continue to know the heart of God and continue to press towards the heavenly reward and not just the earthly reward.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and pass along to others the amazing wisdom gained from this episode. And most importantly, the gospel, good news, and love of Jesus Christ.